It's your boy Iced Glory, and I'm back up in here for the first time doing we can just say movie reaction to a actual movie, and or my review of the Static fan film that came out. What is it? I want to say the 11th. That was on a May 11th on Friday of last week. Okay, I just really want to just get right into it because I wrote down like a lot of stuff, and then I thought to myself, I don't really want to spoil the movie, so what I'm gonna say here is, if you want to see the movie, I'm going to stick the link for the movie in the description so you can go watch it. Now, be forewarned, there will be some spoilers. There will be some spoilers for me. I'm not going to tell you the whole entire movie, but I will tell you things I absolutely loved about the movie. There is nothing really negative I can say about this movie at all. So, we're just going to get like right to it. Okay, so for a long time, I think a lot of fans of like Static Shock, the comic book, and Static Shock, the animated series, have always pondered whether there was a chance that there could be a live action film. Now I've read like a bunch of like different scenarios where there was written scripts, they had the director, but they couldn't get a movie studio. And it's just like this it's just like this reoccurring thing that goes in a circle that never actually like happens because they can't get a studio that will fund the movie. It's like, it's almost kind of like it's not that big of a hero entity as somebody like, I don't know, like let's just say like Arrow. He's not important like Arrow, or he's not important like Superman. That's what Hollywood is pretty much telling you. Like it doesn't seem like Static Shock is that important, so we're not gonna go forward with doing a Static movie. Right off the bat, I had already seen this movie, but the problem was when I saw this movie, I thought in my head, I'm like, should I do a review for this now? Because the way I saw it and the way I wanted to see it weren't, it didn't mesh up well. And I had written a review for it, but I didn't remember any names. I didn't remember Dakota, the city of Dakota. Dakota City was the city that they were in. I didn't remember a lot of things, and that's because of where he showed the movie at. It's not even like the venue where the movie was shown. There was like a lot of like noise a little bit, so I couldn't really hear everything. I could like only like really visually see everything. I could hear a little bit, but like there was a bunch of things going on, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until he puts it out on YouTube so I can properly do a review for this. So, here we are now. And what I really liked about this movie is it's not over yet. Like, this is a very good development for the character. Like the character of Virgil Hawkins, and of course getting to know, his father, who's running for mayor in the movie, and of course getting to know like the person who's the mayor of Dakota City and what type of corruption is going on there. Also, you get to know like there's like 3 antagonists in this movie. One is the mayor. Another one, he works for the mayor, and another one is like a high school antagonist. Like he went to school with Virgil, and his name is Miles. And they really did a good job of him and the team of writers really did a good job of like not focusing on just like one, not focusing on just like one enemy, one enemy, like focused on three enemies. So in the beginning of the movie, you basically get to know about Bang Babies and how Virgil became Static Shock, and how like if you remember from like the animated series, and I'm gonna pretty much tell you how like the animated series and this short film like mesh up together. David Kirkman and his writers kind of like pulled from the comic book, pulled from the animated series, and kind of like mixed those up and put in like his own modern like style to it, to make it not only over here, to make it not only over there, but to keep it like right in the middle, and make it modern for like somebody who's not really accustomed to knowing who Static Shock is, or does know who Static Shock is just like all they know is maybe the cartoon, like me. I only know the cartoon. I don't really know the comic books, but I know like the cartoon. So he did a really good job of that. And the first scene is the scene where him and his cousin are like talking, and he's pretty much telling him, "Oh, I need a gun because I'm being bullied at school and they're testing me." So let me tell you how that scene kind of pretty much links up with the very first episode of Static, the animated series. The scene in that show is pretty much panned out like this. Virgil is being antagonized by Francis, aka, if I remember his name correctly, Francis, aka Hot Streak. Francis, aka Hot Streak, is pretty much bullying him. So every time he got bullied by Hot Streak and or Francis, a gang would come and help Virgil out. So in that same episode, Virgil is met with the task of pretty much having to meet that gang who has been protecting him. And pretty much when he gets to the abandoned area where he has to meet that gang that's been protecting him, they give him a gun. So over here in the Static Shock fan film, Virgil's asking for a gun. And in the next couple premises, we're pretty much prone to the origin of the Bang Babies and how all these young people will become part of like some type of experiment, and or like given like superficial powers or paranormal powers of some sort. So long story short, in that first like 5 minutes, it goes into this animated sequence, and it pretty much details how the police pretty much drops like this chemical, this smoke bomb chemical, and it causes everybody who's there in the abandoned area to pretty much like cough and cover their eyes and everything like that. And then pretty much most of those people in that who were there in that abandoned area are pretty much given like powers because of this smoke, this chemical smoke. Like I said, I'm not gonna really like give you the whole entire movie, but I'll give you, like I said, I'm giving scenes here, trying my best. One scene I thought that was really, really funny There are like maybe two scenes that really made me like chuckle. There's a scene where the character named Miles, who's the one of the antagonists of Virgil Hawkins and or Static Shock, uh, he's being released from jail. Now, what he was in jail for, it probably has to do with I believe it has to do with the robbery that he was involved with when he was at that abandoned area when the bang baby experiment happened. So he's being released by a CO, and the CO is letting him go and everything like that. And, when you leave jail, you're given your things that you came into jail with. So he's like, "Where's my hat?" And the CO, I busted out laughing when he said after he said this shit. He says, he's like, "Oh, where's my hat?" He's like, "Fuck your hat." And he's like, "I love that hat. That was my favorite hat." I'm like, I don't know why that scene is like so funny, but I don't know why. I think it's hilarious for some damn reason. I don't know why. It's just hella funny to me. But moving on, there's also another scene that I love in the movie where Static pretty much tells his best friend Richie, that he has powers, and it goes into a thing of like Richie saying like, "Oh, you were in that explosion, aka the Bang Baby experiment explosion." So that was another scene I liked. Like I said, this movie does a really good job of keeping it right where you love it to be, as far as like for people who really are like fans of like Static Shock. Yeah, definitely. Let me see. Also, whoever the guy is who plays like the mayor. Let me find his name real quick because I wrote this down. I definitely wrote it down. The guy. Let me find his name. Bill Jefferson. I don't know his real name. What his actual real name is, but Bill Jefferson in the movie did a great job of playing a very fraudulent and corrupt mayor. He did a very good job, a great job. Forget good. He did a great job of playing a corrupt politician and or government state official. It's perfect. He did a great job. So you also get to know the other antagonists. You already know there's Miles, and you already know there's Bill Jefferson. The other antagonist name is Stone. I believe so. I believe the guy's... No, I'm sorry. Smalls. Excuse me. His name is Smalls. Let me correct myself. His name is Smalls. Smalls also does a very good job of playing like an under... to me, I feel like he was an underboss in this movie. Like, there wasn't really any showcase of a villain, but if there was, it would be the mayor and then this Smalls guy. Because, I think what he said something in the movie to Miles when he was meeting him. That's another funny scene, by the way. There's another funny scene where Miles meets Smalls. Miles, who's the antagonist of Static, like the high school antagonist, and he meets this Smalls guy, and the Smalls guy asks him, "Oh, so you were at the explosion?" And he was like, "So what can you do? Shoot flames out your ass?" Well, what did he say? He said, "Shoot flames out your ass, moonwalk. What can you do?" I thought that was funny as hell. I thought that shit was funny as hell. I know. I don't know how anybody who was in the room when they shot this scene could keep a straight face. But I wouldn't have been able to keep a straight face when he said some shit like that. He said, what can you do? Can you shoot flames out your ass? Can you moonwalk? What can you do?" That shit was hilarious. It was right on the money. If there's any scene in this movie that kills me, dying with laughter, it's that scene. That scene is the one. It's so funny, but he did a great job. He's another one who did a great job, like I said, of being one of, like, you know, he's not really like a politician, I don't believe. I think he's just an underboss who works for Mayor Bill Jefferson. And Bill Jefferson, what he's good at as far as like being like an antagonist, he's good at like appointing people positions to like do things. Kind of sort of like how Donald Trump is in White House and he has like a whole bunch of like had a whole bunch of people in his cabinet who were there that he appointed that could just do whatever the hell they wanted. That's why now you see him he was rushing to fire all the people in his cabinet. Right now it's just looking iffy. But that's how it comes together as far as Bill Jefferson, the mayor, being a villain. And also, even you can even connect it even more to Virgil, his dad, Virgil's dad. Let me find his name real quick. I'm sorry, I got everything on here. Like I said, I'm not gonna give away the movie, the whole entire movie, but I got a lot of stuff written here. But I'm gonna just keep it short. Like I said, Virgil's dad, who's running for office. I can't find his name right now. You can connect that as well because Bill Jefferson doesn't know Virgil. Bill Jefferson doesn't know Virgil is Static Shock's dad. I don't believe, but he's trying to do everything in his power to like get this guy to get away so he can continue to be the corrupt mayor that he is of Dakota City. So you can tie him being corrupt and him also trying to knock this Virgil's dad out the picture so he can win the election and continue to be mayor of Dakota City as a rightful thing for him to be a villain. This is the perfect type of villain. He's the perfect type of villain. He's a villain who's a state official who's able to make laws, pass laws, and free bad people. You know, which is a reality we all know too near and dear to our heart, and the actual reality of this society and world that we live in is that good people get stepped on and bad people get to walk scot-free most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time bad people get to walk scot-free or get less lessened sentences. So that's the end of my review. I thought this was a great movie. Like I said, I will put it down in the description. I hope I didn't talk too much and give away too much for you people to not go watch it. I still recommend you watch it, even though I gave away a little bit. I loved at the end of the movie. Yes, I'm giving away the end of the movie. I only gave you like maybe 1, 2, 3. I gave you like maybe 3 parts of the movie. 3, maybe the ending is like the 4th part. I give you 4 parts of this movie, but the ending is 2 parts. There's 2 parts that I love of the ending. When I went to go see this at the BSAM, it's like a Black Expo or something like that. I didn't. He cut it off, but like he cut off the movie before we could even like see it. He gave like a okay at the end. Static pretty much has to like save his father. That's all I'm giving you. He saves his father and he's flying away. And there's like a scene where he's just flying away. Like you can see like a little beam of lightning just flying by. And while he's flying by, he says something to the effect. Let me find it real quick. He says something along the lines of, I have it written down, so this is perfect. He says something to the effect of, if you want to test a man's character, give him power. And it shows him flying away, like I think very like slowly, and the camera just like slowly pans out to this guy standing there, and he has like his hair is ignited, his head is ignited, and that's pretty much hot streak. So that pretty much tells me that there's gonna be a second Static. Like I said, this is a perfect development of characters. So now we know who Bill Jefferson is. Now we know who Static's dad is. I can't find his name for some reason. I can't find his name. But now we know who Smalls is. Now we know who Miles is. And these characters should and will come back in a next installment of the Static movie. Also, we may get to see Hot Streak and or Francis in this next movie, because he announced on his Twitter that there is going to be another Static movie. He wrote the script. That's the end of the review, man. Like I said, I'm going to be putting it down in the description so you can go watch it yourself. Shout out to David Kirkman. I applaud you, man. $3,000 just to shoot this short film. A $3,000 short film is better than, I'm going to keep it real, a lot of big budget movies that get made for more than this. So I congratulate him. Follow me on my Instagram, follow me on my Twitter, and hey, I am out of here.